Hair. It's something we style, cut, color, and sometimes even wish we had more of. But have you ever wondered what makes hair straight or curly, dark or light, or why we grow hair in some places but not others? From the soft fuzz of a newborn to the coarse hair on your scalp or beard, hair types and colors vary widely across the human body and throughout life. Today, we're breaking down the different types of hair and what determines its color. Hi, and welcome back to my channel, Learning Biology with Dr. Vanessa, where I take difficult biological concepts and make them easy to understand. In this lesson, we'll explore the structure of hair, the types of hair on the human body, the biological basis of hair texture, and the science behind hair color. Let's begin by looking at what hair actually is. Hair is a keratinized structure that grows from hair follicles located in the dermis. Each hair has a shaft, the part you see, and a root which is below the skin surface. That root is embedded in a follicle. At the base is the hair bulb, where we find the hair matrix, where living cells divide, grow, and produce keratin, a strong structural protein. The shaft itself has 3 layers: the medulla, which is the core, and it may be absent in thin hairs; the cortex, which is the main body where we find pigment and keratin; and then the cuticle, which is the outermost layer, and it has a protective function to the hair. Humans actually grow 3 distinct types of hair during their lifetime: lanugo, vellus, and terminal hairs. These differ in texture, size, and function. Lanugo is the fine, soft, unpigmented hair that covers the body of a fetus, usually around the 5th month of gestation. It helps to hold the vernix caseosa, that cheesy protective layer, against the skin. Lanugo is normally shed before birth, but in premature babies, you might still see it temporarily after delivery. It may also reappear in cases of malnutrition, for example, in anorexia nervosa. Next, we have vellus hair, the soft, thin, lightly pigmented hair that covers most of the body. It's what gives the skin a faint fuzz, especially on the cheeks, arms, and back. Vellus hairs are not connected to sebaceous or oil glands and don't grow very long. Though they are found on both children and adults, they are most prominent in children and in areas not influenced by hormones. And then there's terminal hair. Terminal hair is thick, coarse, and pigmented. It appears on the scalp, eyebrows, eyelashes, and after puberty in places like the armpits, pubic area, and face. Terminal hair replaces some vellus hair during puberty under the influence of hormones, especially androgens like testosterone. In adults, about 95% of the body hair on males is terminal hair, and 5% is vellus, while in females, about 35% of the hair is terminal, and 65% is vellus. Hair doesn't grow continuously. It actually grows in cycles. So let's talk about these different cycles of hair growth. The first part of hair growth is the anagen phase, or the growth phase. This is a phase of active growth, which lasts about 2 to 6 years on the scalp. About 85 to 90% of scalp hairs are in this phase. And then it will move into what is called the catagen phase, or the regression phase. This is a very short transitional period lasting about 2 to 3 weeks, where the hair growth will slow and the follicle shrinks. And that will be followed by the telogen phase, or the resting phase, where hair doesn't grow, but it stays in place. It lasts about 3 months, and then eventually the hair falls out in a process called shedding, and the cycle starts again. Shedding about 50 to 100 hairs a day is totally normal. What determines hair texture? Hair doesn't just differ in type, it also differs in shape. So what makes hair straight, wavy, or curly? Hair texture is largely genetic. It depends on the shape of your follicle and the hair shaft it produces, which then determines hair texture. So if it is a round follicle, then that's going to be straight hair. If the follicle is oval, then there will be wavy hair. And if the follicle is flat or ribbon shaped, then there will be curly hair. The texture of the hair is also influenced by how keratin proteins are distributed and how disulfide bonds form along the hair shaft. More bonds and asymmetry is going to have more curl in the hair. And then what about hair color? Just like skin color, hair color is determined by melanin, produced by melanocytes. But in hair, it's produced by melanocytes that are within the hair bulb and then deposited into the growing hair shaft. There are two primary types of melanin in the hair: eumelanin, which is brown to black tones, and then pheomelanin, which is yellow to red tones. Black and brown hair contains mostly eumelanin. Blondes have lower levels of melanin overall. Redheads, they produce more pheomelanin and little eumelanin. The ratio and amount of these pigments determine natural hair color. As we age, melanocytes become less active. That's why hair turns gray or white. It's a loss of pigment, not a new one. Some conditions that affect hair color include alopecia, which is hair loss. There are various types of this, from autoimmune to age-related. Hirsutism, which is excessive terminal hair growth in women, which is often hormonal. And hypertrichosis, which is excessive hair growth over the body, which is genetic and rare. Also, chemotherapy often causes hair loss because it targets rapidly dividing cells, including those in the hair matrix. Let's do a quick recap of what we've learned. Hair is a keratinized structure with a shaft, root, follicle, and hair bulb where we find the matrix and those actively dividing cells. The three types of hair are lanugo, vellus, and terminal. Hair grows in cycles: anagen, catagen, and telogen. Texture is determined by follicle shape and keratin distribution. Hair color is determined by the type and amount of melanin: eumelanin for brown-black and pheomelanin for red-yellow. And of course, genetics plays a huge role in this, as well as hormones and aging that will all work to influence hair's characteristics. Hair is one of the most visible human traits, but it's also deeply biological. From texture to color to growth, it's shaped by a complex interaction of cells, genetics, and hormones. Understanding the biology of hair helps us better appreciate not just what we see, but how it works. If you found this video helpful, make sure to give it a like and share it with your friends. And don't forget to subscribe and allow notifications so that you never miss out on a new video. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.